Okay, so I may have gotten cut off in the last lesson about encapsulation of data, properties, fields of objects. So I just want to spend a few seconds reviewing what I talked about. So we're talking about So each object, the data or fields within each object is encapsulated. When the object does something, when the object is performing a behavior or function, when it's doing something, what that object does is also encapsulated. Now, it can be, like I said, the object can interact with other objects or collaborate with other objects to achieve a goal. All right, which we are going to be doing in the next little bit. We'll talk about collaborating objects, but you control how the objects collaborate. And if you don't need these two objects to work together, if they need to work independently, they can do that as well. Java is of course a multi-threading language. So and then we also talked about the cool thing about using object-oriented programming. Sorry, not P1. This is G1. Okay. The cool thing about using object-oriented programming as it relates to data encapsulation is that it forces you to use a naming convention. So as long as you choose a really good name for your objects, every time you invoke a behavior or function or method using that object name, the object name is always going to come first. Okay, and then you can invoke a method or behavior, or you're going to modify a public. I know these are private, but you can modify a public property if you have them. So that way, there's never a question of, okay, well, this is the deposit, behavior. Now, which object is calling it? It's always in the front here. With that being said, I don't want to confuse it too much, but there are instances in Java where they will allow you to not use the object name and just to use the behavior. But it's one of those convenience features that I really don't like. I wish I kind of wish that, and this is a personal opinion, but I wish they don't allow you to do it. And I would recommend as a beginner programmer that you don't ever do that. That you always put the object name in front of the behavior or property that you're modifying. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, and just really briefly, because unfortunately right now I don't have an example, and this is going to lead us into the next few parts of this computer program, and then I'm going to talk about encapsulation once again. Okay, so we could also, encapsulation of classes, methods, and behaviors have something to do with code reuse and the ideal of using object-oriented programming. So of course, like this is my main program. I know because this is the main here. These are my classes: account, account bus, and vdate. Okay, and now encapsulation of methods and behavior simply means this. What I want to do is I want to develop my account class, so that, now the wording I'm using, pay attention to it. I want to develop my account class so the implementation, okay, or how these deposit fields work, is hidden from the main, from anything else, any other computer program or classes that use the account class. Okay, let me repeat this because it's super important. What I want to do is I want to develop this computer program so the implementation of the algorithm, okay, or how it performs the functionality, is hidden from everyone else, so that anyone who uses this account class, they don't have to know how it works. They don't have to know how this method works, or this one works, or this one works, or this one. All they have to know is they have to know that it does work and what it's going to do for them. Okay, they don't need to know any other details. The examples I can give you, kind of a real life example, is you have someone come in. I don't know. You have someone come in to Okay, here's a typical one. Your cell phone broke. It's under warranty. So what you do is you send it away, and someone fixes it, and it comes back to you. Now you're not interested in exactly how they fixed it. You might be interested in sort of what they did, but exactly how they fixed it, what screws what parts how they ordered the parts, and what procedures they went. You're not interested in the implementation of that repair. You're interested that the repair was done and it was done well, and on time. That's all you're really interested in. So that's the same kind of idea. I want to hide this implementation, and I just want people to know that these methods of behaviors exist, without having them to know exactly what they do. Okay, now as it relates to encapsulation of classes, methods, and behaviors, what I could also do is I could do. You notice that this is a public method, the account method. Sorry, let's use this is a deposit behavior or method. This is public, meaning that I can use it in other programs or other classes. Now, what I've done here with private, if you remember from the very beginning, that these fields were public fields, but I changed them to private. Well, you know what? I could also change behaviors to be private too. Okay, so if I change a behavior to be private, such as this, what I'm saying is that this behavior deposit is only available to be used within this class. That it cannot be used outside of that class at all. Okay, and now I have an error here. And the reason why is because deposit, I'm trying to call a deposit, and as you see from this error here, if you mouse over it, the method deposit is not visible. Okay, is not visible. Okay, so as this relates to visibility of methods and behaviors, and encapsulation is that this method now is private, can only be accessed within here. So what I'm doing as it relates to encapsulation is I'm hiding not just the implementation of this method, but I'm hiding the entire method, and it's simply not able to be used outside of this computer program, or outside of this class. Okay, so that goes one step beyond encapsulating the implementation of a behavior or a method. So the next question you might ask is, well, why would you even need to write a function or a behavior that you can't see or use outside of this class? For a computer program, that might be a little bit hard to see, but in real life, we do this all the time. Typical example. You are a class and you have a car, and someone else, as in another class, comes up to you and says, "Can I use your car? I want to go. Can I borrow your car to go to work?" And you say, "No. How about I'll use my own car and I'll take you to work?" Okay, so there's a really simple example of a private method. Now your car is only available for you to use, okay, and not your friend. So same thing with this one here. This deposit function, because now it's now private, okay, this deposit behavior is now only able to be used with with this class, and that's it. So let me change this back to public, and everything should be good. Okay, and finally, one of the two biggest goals of using object-oriented programming, encapsulation, and such, is code reuse. Okay, is to be able to reuse the work that we put into building these classes, even if at the moment we don't foresee that code will ever be reused. And the simple explanation I give you there is you don't think it's going to be used again, but we can't predict the future. Okay, that's it for this lesson.